Hi everyone. Welcome to episode number 15. My name is Charlotte from Cybit IT, and today, I'm here to talk to you about how to repaste thermal paste on your CPU and GPU in this podcast. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, Cybit IT is one of the most prominent IT companies based in Toronto, Canada. Cybit IT, with years of experience, provides a full range of remote and on-site managed IT, network support, computer help desk, cloud computing, website, app design, digital marketing, SEO, and graphic design. So let's dive into our topic. You may ask, why how to repaste thermal paste on your CPU and GPU is an important topic these days. When you first start using a computer, everything seems new, exciting, and almost magical. You'll learn the basics about how your computer works, what all these different parts are for, and how to get the most out of it. But as time goes on and you use it more often, you'll begin to learn more about the nitty-gritty details of each part of your computer. This includes things like what can fail more quickly than others and what can cause issues with your computer if they aren't replaced frequently enough. That's right, we're talking about repasting your CPU and GPU. These two elements of your computer have very different lifespans because they operate so differently from one another. Why your CPU needs repasting more often than not. The CPU is responsible for a lot of different tasks in your computer, but repasting it every once in a while can help boost its performance and longevity. But why do we need to repaste the CPU? What's so special about it? When you first get a computer, there are a few parts that you should definitely be aware of and keep track of. The first is the motherboard, which acts as the central hub for every other part. The second is the CPU. If you're really interested in how your computer works, then you'll want to know about these parts and how they function. The CPU is responsible for calculating everything that happens within your computer. Every movement, every click, every word in a document is processed by the CPU. This is one of the most intensive tasks that takes place in your computer, and the amount of heat generated by the CPU during this process is tremendous. It's because of this heat that a CPU needs to be properly cooled in order to function properly. And if it's not, it can cause major problems. What's a good repaste? A good repaste is one that covers the entire CPU. Now, there are a few different types of repaste methods, but the best repaste you can get is one that covers the entire surface of your CPU. The best repaste options will allow you to peel off the old paste and put new paste on the CPU's surface before putting a new heatsink on top of it. Repasting your CPU isn't something you can do at home. Doing so could damage your CPU. You also generally don't want to try repasting it if you don't have the proper training. You could end up doing more harm than good. What happens when you repaste a CPU? Your CPU has a bunch of pins sticking out of it. The purpose of these pins is to draw power from the motherboard and the socket itself. The thing is, this current doesn't flow as smoothly as it should. The reason for this is because manufacturers tend to glue the chips to the board where they sit, and this glue can affect the flow of current. So, by repasting your CPU, you peel off the old glue and replace it with a new layer of paste. This helps to improve the flow of current and reduces the amount of heat generated by your CPU. Why GPUs need repasting as well? GPUs also need to be repasted regularly, but it's less frequent than when repasting your CPU. GPUs are responsible for the visual elements in your computer, so they also generate a lot of heat. They also need to be cooled properly, but since you don't use this part of your computer as often, you don't need to worry about repasting it as regularly as you do your CPU. The best ways to keep your GPU in great shape is to keep it clean, change out your video card every couple years, depending on how much you use it, and repaste it every couple years as well. What to look for in a repasting service? Repasting your CPU and GPU is a critical part of keeping your computer in good shape. But, if you don't do it often enough, it can cause major problems with your computer. To make sure you don't harm your computer, it's best to find a reputable repasting service. The first thing you want to look for when searching for a repasting service is a wide variety of reviews from previous clients. Find out if those clients were happy with the service and how long it took for the repasting to be completed. If you see a wide variety of reviews across a number of different sites, you're likely working with a reputable repaste service. How to repaste your CPU and GPU. There are a couple things you'll need before you repaste your CPU and GPU. First, you'll need to buy new paste. Make sure you get the right paste for your CPU. You can find a wide variety of different pastes online at affordable prices. Next, you'll need to clean off your CPU and GPU. Because you're ripping off the old paste, you need to make sure you get it all off before applying the new paste. It's best to use some sort of cleaning solvent to thoroughly wipe off the old paste. Soap and water work, but they'll leave some residue behind. Make sure you get every bit of the old paste off before applying the new stuff. You should also clean the socket the CPU sits in. Wipe down the interior of the socket to make sure it's completely clean. So, at the end, I would say the CPU and GPU are two of the most important parts of a computer. They generate a lot of heat and need to be properly cooled to function properly. Regularly repasting these two important parts can help them last longer. If you keep your computer in good shape and repaste your CPU and GPU regularly, you'll likely have a longer, more reliable life from it. Take care of your computer and it will take care of you. I once again thank you on behalf of everyone who were a part of the Cybit IT podcast for making it a great learning experience for all of us. You have genuinely infused us with hope by showing us how much potential the markets have for us. Thanks for listening to the Cybit IT podcast and stay tuned for our next exciting episode. Goodbye.